Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today I am going to be talking about how I draw faces as recommended by some of my followers on Instagram, and be ready for a lot of over-explaining. First off, how I start this off is I started with the basics of making a face in the way that I kind of learned it at school. And so first off, I'm just going to start off with a circle, which is just going to be the base of the head, obviously, because yeah, we all have heads, right? I think. I mean, unless you want to do a headless character, you'll look quirky. And then off of that, like, my lines are kind of bad in this, so, just have to deal with it. But like, next, I just kind of like do, kind of like a square shape for a square. Like, kind of like almost like triangular shape for like the chin, kind of like you see in anime, because my art has been influenced by anime and manga, so like you can definitely see that in my art style, as well as like kind of like some Disney influence. But yeah, just like having like kind of like that shape helps to build like the chin and like kind of just like the facial shape in general. And then next I do basic guidelines, which is just like your line that divides the center of the face and vertically, and then a line that divides the face horizontally. And the horizontal line is where you're gonna like want to place your eyes, or like kind of just like the general area where you want to do that. And then like the middle of the face, like right smack in the center, is where you're gonna want to do your nose. And I kind of drew my nose kind of differently when I did this, and I decided to start off with a circle just to kind of show where it would be placed, which is, like I said, just right smack in the middle of those lines. And what I really do is just kind of like do like some rounded shapes on the outside of the circle, and do like some smaller circles on like the inside of the nose. And what I was trying to demonstrate is like you don't want to make the nostrils like too big, because it looks really pig-like, and you don't want your person looking like a pig. I mean, unless, furry art. I don't know. And so like you just kind of want to make them kind of small and make them just kind of like chillin', vibing, and you just want your character to have a nose so they can smell and obviously like be more human, unless of course it's something that you want to add in your style and don't want to add noses, because some people do that. Some people don't add noses into their art style, and that's chill. Makes your art a little different. So now I'm starting on the eyes, and I'm just kind of like working on like eye shape and showing how I do eye shape. I just kind of do like a rounded, like kind of like an arch at first, and then I just do like a second one beneath that. And then lashes, I literally just like flick my pencil and I get in like an upwards motion to get like those really long, luxurious eyelashes. And I think what I did next was just kind of like show like other ways you could do the eyes. So we're starting off with like that half like arc shape, and then you're gonna do like another arc kind of below that, and then that is when you just like, that's just like the other eye. And sometimes, like, not gonna lie, I do be copy and pasting eyes, because sometimes you just can't draw the other eye. And the cool thing with digital art is that you can just, take that other eye and move it over to the other side, flip it, and you're good. But then I was showing another way you can do lashes, which is you can make them shorter. It really just depends on like how much you flick your wrist when you do the eyelashes, and that just kind of like changes how long they are. And something else that I learned in my art class is that you want to have the lashes going in a bunch of different directions. So you want to have them going like the like the end of your eye. This is really bad explanation. Is where the lashes are longer, and so you want to make those like longer, kind of toward the bottom of the eye. And then as they get like closer to like the nose, you make them shorter, because that's just how your eyelashes work in the real world. That's just like how it is. Next I'll talk about eyebrows. So then, like for eyebrows, what I do is I just do like a line, another line, and then a line underneath, and I connect those with the line. and that can get like an eyebrow shape. You can make it more rounded if you want. You can make it more square. Like with this one, I did kind of more square-ish eyebrows. Yeah, you can easily round it off by like, instead of making it a line, just kind of make it like a little bit of like a circle. So then you have the mouth, and I drew a circle to show where the mouth goes. This is not usually what I do, but like I said, I wanted to over explain everything, so just, to make it a better experience. But I start off with 2 little circles, which are kind of like the corners of like your lips, because it is darker there than it is obviously like with your actual lips. And so like that's just supposed to do that and show like smile lines kind of. And then for the actual lips, I kind of go like this weird like S shape, and then I like mirror it on the other side to get like like the Cupid's bow look, get like some little cute lips. And then I just draw a line not far underneath that to show where the bottom lip is, and then I connect it with either like a straight line, or sometimes if I'm feeling brave, I do a wavy kind of line to connect the upper and lower lips. So yeah, and that's pretty much like the basics for how I draw a girl. This was like specifically for like a girl. I'm actually gonna like draw like a guy later, but I'm not the best at doing them, so I would say take that advice with a grain of salt, but I tried. That's what matters. And that's what matters with you too. Just try. Like, you don't honestly have to draw these faces the exact same way I do. Like, literally my style is taken from like multiple different styles that influenced me, and that's kind of how I got where I am now. And it's literally like the same way with you all. Like, this can like be like a good base starter for you. Like, if you're just starting drawing or like you're not good at drawing faces, I say that this is like a good way to start, just by watching tutorials, seeing what you like, and incorporating that into your own style, and like including stuff that you like, because that is really what's going to make your style stand out from that artist over there with more followers than you. But then I just did like some hair. I don't know if you all want a hair tutorial. I didn't really go into like real depth with how I draw hair, because it's not really that important like with this, because obviously I'm focusing on the face and not really focusing on the hair. So now I'm pretty sure I'm going to be moving on to drawing a boy. And like I said, take this with a grain of salt, because I'm not very good at this, and I was actually just working on like tutorials on how to do this the other day. So like I said, I'm really not that good, I'm not that incredible, but I decided to include it anyways for anyone who might like be curious about it, I guess. So it's very like kind of the same and kind of different. Like, I start off with that base circle, obviously, and then I have the lines that come out from the circle, but this is where it's different, is the actual facial shape. Because because men have like different face shapes than like women, obviously. If you hear that, that's my guinea pigs, I apologize. But yeah, like you just like kind of like start off like a circle, like for the base of the head, they have these lines, but the difference is that they kind of are more angular. Like, it's more of like a triangle. Well, like I said that last time, it's a triangle, but like it's a different triangle. It kind of like forms like a weird kind of shape. I don't really know how to explain it. Like, what I do is I just like draw like a kind of, is horizontal the right word? We'll go with that. Like a horizontal line coming off of like my vertical lines, and like it just goes down, and then you can round off the chin by drawing like an arc, or you could square it, which is what I usually do, and just draw a line to connect those lines, and it kind of forms like a weird like pentagon sort of shape, I guess. I think that's the right shape. I don't know what I'm talking about. And then, kind of similar to the girl, you literally just draw the lines, like the vertical line splitting the face in half, and then the horizontal line splitting the face in half. You draw a circle for where the nose is gonna be. So yeah, you have the circle for where the nose is gonna be. Then I was explaining how like the like jaw is squared rather than like kind of rounded, like it is with like how I do like my female character. And even hers isn't rounded, she's really like pointy looking face, but it's not to like the extent of the male one. So then, like I said, same way with like noses, you can make them bigger, you can make them smaller. It just, like I said, it just depends on what you want to do with your art style, or just like how you draw faces in general. That can really make your characters stand out from one another if you change up like different facial things, such as like how big the eyes are, the shape of the eyes, the how like big the nose is, and how big the mouth is, how big the lips are. Literally, that can change up your whole character and make them really stand out from the other one, and not get cursed with same face syndrome, where all your characters look the same and have like the exact same looking face. Sometimes I think I have that, but like I'm trying to get better at not. So trying to get better at not doing that. But yeah. Then I just labeled not as round eyes because they just, just guys don't really have as round of eyes as girls do, which is what I was trying to show here. And like I really just do like kind of like a line, and I have another line coming off of it. I'm so bad at explaining this. And then I have just like a rounded arc at the bottom. And then I just draw like the iris, which is literally you just draw like a circle and have it going in whichever direction you choose. Like whichever way that this person's going to be looking, that is where you're going to draw the iris area. At least I think that's the right word. But yeah, that's how you kind of like do their eyes. It's slightly different from female eyes. And yeah, like that's like really like kind of all I'm talking about right here. And oh, I didn't like how the eyes looked. Like I remember when I was doing this, I didn't like how the eyes looked, so I'm trying to fix that. So eyebrows are slightly different. You want to make these eyebrows thicker. There are girls that have super duper thick eyebrows, me being one of them. And so like, but like they have like kind of like thicker, bigger eyebrows. But like I said, your character doesn't have to look like that. They can literally have round, thin eyebrows. Who cares? It's literally all up to you with what they look like, because it's your character. So they are the main character of your story. So make them main character. Make them have main character vibes. Give them that energy. Make them a main character. Change stuff up. Do not like think like this is how you have to draw every single face like the way I'm saying it. You can literally just do it however you want. Then I was trying to like draw lines and stuff, I think that's what it is. I don't know. I was trying to do that, but it's not really something I'm good at. It's something I'm still working on. And I just shaded it because it looks better when I shade it versus when I don't, because it looks kind of stupid otherwise. So I decided to do that. Okay, so the mouth. Kind of similar to like the female one, but slightly different. Like you should have the two circles. That's where like the ends of the mouth are gonna be, because it's darker there. And then you have the like for what I do, I usually just draw like lines, like to show like the smile, because that's just easier for me, and I feel weird doing lips on guys for some reason. So I usually just do like the rounded lip at the bottom and leave it there, because it's just easier for me, and I feel like it doesn't look as weird. Then I just did like some like basic hair. Like I said, this is not a hair tutorial. If you want one, I'll gladly give you one. But this isn't a hair tutorial, so this is literally just I just did a random hairstyle and I consider that good. And yeah, then I just really did some shading toward the end here. Okay, so yeah, I'm just shading. If you want like a shading tutorial, I can do that. I don't really care. I'm free to do all the tutorials. But now I'm gonna be moving on to facial expression. But I just started off by drawing my character Nita, who is one of the main characters that I created like a really long time ago. She's literally one of my first characters I created. And she's like part of my original squad that I have. So I just decided to draw her as just like an example because I drew her a lot in one of my sketchbooks. I'm thinking about reviewing it because like why not? And it's super old, and honestly I just drew her all over the place because I was writing her story at the time, which is kind of like, does anyone else do that? Like I do that literally all the time, but I'm getting way off track. So facial expressions, I just decided to draw her looking flat. Like, this is literally just like a flat, neutral facial expression. Like, she's not necessarily expressing really any emotion. And, well, you don't want your characters to look like that. Especially if you want to do something that's like doing like comics or like webtoon, anything like that. If you want to do anything like that, you cannot have your characters just looking flat and boring. You have to add personality to their face, okay? Like, you have to just like give them expressions, show this character, show how they react to different situations. And my example is like I decided to draw her looking excited. So like let's say she got a gift from her boyfriend, right? Okay, we all I think would enjoy that, right? And so I decided to draw her looking like kind of excited, kind of happy, because that's how I imagined that she would probably look in that situation. And so I gave her like a wide smile on her face, and I kind of squinted her eyes a bit because when you like smile really hard, like you're super excited, your eyes they kind of like crinkle or whatever and get kind of smaller. At least for me. And so that's what I did, and I rose her eyebrows up higher, and they're like kind of going like an upward motion because it shows that she's excited by having her eyebrows going kind of like up, I guess. So yeah, like that's kind of like an explanation for like an excited face, or like at least how I draw it. Like a good way that you can practice facial expressions, like this really old art meme. At least I think it was considered an art meme. And it was like a facial expressions challenge, and like you got a bunch of different prompts. I did a lot of these. Like if I have some pictures, I will insert them here. Okay, but that is like what I would do when practicing facial expressions, and it's honestly really helpful, especially for like stuff like animation or like comics or webtoons. Like I said, like having your characters being able to like express different emotions and like thinking about their personality and just like incorporating that and like the different facial expressions they would make. I think it really helps just kind of like bring out like your character and can really help them like express themselves and not seem, like I said, not make them seem flat and emotionless, because that's not what we want. We want you want people to connect to your character, and by having them just like doing like flat facial expressions, that's not going to do anything. Oh yeah, so what I did here with the eyes is I decided to do like, I tried to do like a star thing because I think this was something I did. It's super cartoony. It's something that Lavender Town does, for like example, and she puts a bunch of different shapes in like the eyes to like show different emotions, which is super cool. But like stars is like something that I've seen her do a few times, which is kind of why I did that, just like to like show like an example about how you can make it a little bit more cartoony and still have like still show off a bunch of different expressions, even though it's like more simplified, I guess, than doing like the way like I do eyes, I guess. So the next emotion I decided that I wanted to try and do was sadness. Like let's say like her dog died. I've never had a dog, if you can't tell. But let's say like her dog died and she's super sad. Her eyes, like she would probably be crying. Number one, I didn't go into super detail with these tears, if you can't tell. I mean, she's wearing makeup, so like honestly, probably like her tears wouldn't be like clear. Like, they probably have like a little bit of like a grayish, blackish color in them. So I'm just redoing that eye and like fixing it, but like you see what I mean? Like her eyes are closed, like her mouth is like turned down, like the corners of her mouth are turned down, and everything's just kind of looking down. I mean, her eyebrows are still going up, but I put like a crease in between because sometimes that happens when you get stressed out or like you're sad. You get a crease like between like your like eyebrows. I don't even know if that's the right word. Oh, then I drew a circle for replacing her ear because I want to try and place it in the correct place. But I do think I'd change it because I think I placed it up a little bit high. But this isn't about ears, so it's about facial expressions. And so, like, that's just kind of what I want to like illustrate, like showing like sad. Oh, and then a thing I do is I know my face turns really red when I cry. That's because I ugly cry. And so like I just added like some shading to like represent like blush, like let's say like she's like blushing, her face is super red because she's been crying so much. So this was kind of depressing. Awkward. So moving on. The next facial expression that I did was, I don't even like remember, I think I did angry because that's like one that's, I'll express that. I just decided to do some basic emotions, not anything crazy. And like I said, that one art made, like the facial expressions challenge one, that one definitely has some interesting vocabulary. Like some of the words I have to like look up, and like they are facial expressions. Like bereft apparently means bored. I didn't know that until I did the challenge. So angry, her eyebrows are going down because she's mad. Like your eyebrows kind of like arc up. Well, not for everyone, I guess in cartoons they do. I have a cartoon style, so like her eyebrows are like kind of going like a downwards motion and like kind of going up because like I said, she's angry. Her nostrils are definitely bigger. I know I said earlier to not do big nostrils because you don't want your character to look like a pig, but like in this case, like her nostrils are flared. She is angry, she is fired up, she's ready to fight someone. So that is what I wanted to emphasize by doing that. And then the thing I did with the eye like a second ago, before I do like my normal iris, as I was showing, you can also shrink the pupils down. Something that's in like anime, and it shows anger within like the characters when their pupils just like shrink, and like they're just like something's about to go down. And just in general, I made her face a lot more angular because like that kind of goes into shape theory. Like triangles that kind of represent like anger and like bad people and all of that stuff. And so that's kind of like what I did by having like everything a little bit more angular. Oh, and then I was thinking about adding tears to her face, cause sometimes you get so fired up and you just start crying. Cute stuff, being human. So, oh yeah, then just add the shading to her face, like I said, because she's angry, so her face is probably super duper red. She's fired up, she feels like crying from how angry she is. Everything's angular, her eyebrows are going like downwards, her mouth is also turned downwards, kind of like the sad thing. Her mouth is going to be turned downward, like the corner of her mouth, and like just like the general like shape is going to be kind of going in a downwards motion, and it's going to look a little bit angrier and stuff. So, yeah. Oh shoot. Yeah, and pretty much I highly recommend like practicing stuff like this. It seems so like simple and like so little, but honestly it can make a pretty big difference with like character and can really help with like illustration and getting to know your character better. That was my guinea pigs again, if you heard that. It can just help with you getting to know your character better and like think about how they would express themselves in different situations, which can be great if you love storytelling and doing stories with your characters. And I highly recommend not only doing like the character facial expression sheet, but another one that I decided to practice, and I got this idea from Lavender Chan in one of her old videos. If I can find it, I'll like put it in the iCard thing. But she did like this full body turnaround thing, which is really helpful for animation because you can see your characters from like front view, side view, other side view, and from the back, which is really helpful. And so yeah, that's just what I recommend for facial expressions. And that's what I recommend for facial expressions and just drawing faces in general. Let me know if this video was helpful to you, and please like, comment, and subscribe.
You know I love you, boy, in every single